My name is Ashley Benoit, and I'm from Cold Spring, Minnesota. And in 2024, I became fully convinced that Jesus was my only hope. When I was 24 years old, I had just graduated college. I ended up finding this lump in my armpit. I hadn't thought a lot about it, and then found over time that that lump had continued to grow. And so in 2016, I ended up going in for a doctor's appointment where we found out that I actually had breast cancer. So in the span of that next year, I ended up going through some different treatments. I went through a double mastectomy, different rounds of chemo, and then some hormone therapy medications, and finally finished off, crossed all of the things off of the list. We were great, my health was good. So I continued on, and over the next couple of years, I ended up getting married. And one of the things that we were told often as I was going through my first bout of cancer was that getting pregnant would be something that was really difficult for us. My husband and I just continued to pray that the Lord would lead us in whatever decision that looked like for us. And so we found out on Thanksgiving Day in 2022 that we were expecting our first daughter, Janie. She's now 3 years old. She's healthy and vibrant and full of life. So fast forward a couple of years, in 2024, in January, my husband and I were ready to expand our family again. And we just wanted to do a scan to make sure everything was okay before we actually started trying to expand our family. So I went in for this very preliminary scan, and later that evening I had a call from my oncologist just saying that she had found some masses in my lungs that she was really worried about. And then I found out a few days later that these masses are what you call metastatic breast cancer in my lungs. Now this diagnosis is, medically speaking, a terminal diagnosis. We were shocked and we were devastated. This had been in March. And so we just took some time to pray about it, and we really believed that He was going to heal my body in that. And so in May of 2024, I went in for another scan. We were so confident that I was going to be healed. And we sat down full of faith for my doctor to tell me that these masses had grown, another one had formed, and that I needed to start treatment immediately. And so I started treatment on that day, and I can tell you that we left the hospital that day and walked to our car, and we both just sat in silence on the way home. And we both went off my husband went downstairs to go and pray, and I just went for a walk. And my husband felt like the Lord spoke to him about the story specifically of Lazarus, and how we cried out to the Lord. We asked Him to heal us, and we believed that He was going to heal us. And He didn't. So after we got this news from my doctor, there were a lot of questions that we had. First and foremost being, am I going to be able to grow old with my husband? Am I going to be able to watch my little girl grow up? Am I going to be able to hold another baby in my arms? And these were all things that were really difficult and are still really difficult to navigate and to process. But it was in that weekend that my husband and I, we knew that we had to make a choice. And the fact that we were either going to take this upon ourselves, or we were going to trust that the Lord was going to do something through this. And so we became fully convinced that He was going to be our only hope. This diagnosis really changed the way that we thought about everything. I mean, I have never valued something more than I value my Bible. We made our times of prayer something that we could even negotiate anymore. It became something that we had to do. We're worship pastors at our local church, and it truly changed the atmosphere of our worship because we began to worship like our lives depended on it. And so we're still in it. It's been about 1.5 years now that we've been navigating this process, and we have seen the hand of God at work. We have seen miracles that my medical team can't seem to give explanation to. And we're still praying and believing that we're gonna see life, long life. I believe that I'm gonna have gray hair someday watching my grandchildren. And we're gonna be testifying about the goodness of God. And so I am so thankful for what this diagnosis has brought us. I believe that this has brought us so close to the feet of Jesus. Psalm 27:13 says, I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. So I'm convinced that as we wait, that I will see the goodness of God in the land of the living.